Namaste dear students, welcome to online class. Dear students, already you completed the first three chapters of physics. Today we are in the fourth chapter. Before starting the chapter, I will introduce myself. My name is Chamraj Shanbhog. I am working as lecturer in Karnataka Public School, Bidkalkatte. So, today we start first PUC physics. Fourth chapter, motion in a plane. Before going in detail of the chapter, first we concentrate on the importance of this chapter. How much important the chapter is. To start with, the chapter motion in a plane is of 12 hours. 12 ಗಂಟೆಯ ಪಾಠ ಇದು. For annual examination or supplementary examination, ವಾರ್ಷಿಕ ಪರೀಕ್ಷೆಗೆ nearly 11 marks will come for annual examination, and for competitive examination, I mean for Karnataka CET examination, out of 60 questions, 2 questions will come from this chapter. Keep in mind, 2 questions for Karnataka CET. In addition to that, medical examination, NEET, conducted by CBSE, out of 45 questions, 1 question will come from this chapter. 1 question for medical entrance examination. In addition to that, for JEE, either it is mains exam or advanced exam, 1 question will come for JEE examination. In total, the importance of chapter is very high. For annual examination, 11 marks question will come. For CET, conducted by Karnataka Pre-University Board, KEA, 2 questions will appear. For NEET, 1 question will appear. For JEE, 1 question will come. So, this is about the importance of the chapter. Now we begin with the introduction of this chapter. So, introduction. Dear students, already you studied motion along a straight line. Or motion in one dimension, motion along a straight line or motion in one dimension. In that, you studied certain physical quantities like position, displacement, velocity, acceleration, etc. These are the important terms used to explain motion of a body or object along a straight line. Here, in order to explain this, or the direction of these physical quantities are taken care either by plus sign or by minus sign. So, the direction of motion in case of either position, displacement, velocity, acceleration during a straight line motion, it was considered either plus or minus. That means along positive x-axis if a body moves, then its displacement is taken as positive, velocity is taken as positive when it moves along positive x direction. Suppose the body is moving in the negative x direction or negative x axis, then we consider displacement velocity as negative, because there are only two possibilities along a straight line. Motion along a straight line has only two possible directions. One is positive, the other one is negative. Dear students, but motion in a plane is not like that. First, we take few examples of motion in a plane. What are the examples of motion in a plane? All of you played carom. All of you, most of you played carom. Carom is played on a horizontal board. So, movement of carom coins in a horizontal carom board is an example of motion in a plane. All of you have studied or played billiard. Billiard ball movement is also an example of motion in a plane. In addition to that, all of you participated in athletic competitions. In that we have javelin throw or shot put. Throwing a javelin or throwing a shot put are also the examples of motion in a plane. In addition to that, uniform circular motion. Uniform circular motion means take a small thread, on one side you tie a stone and whirl it either in the vertical circle or in the horizontal circle. That stone moves with uniform velocity, but its direction changes. So such a motion is called motion in a plane. In order to explain movements of either carom coins or billiard board or javelin throw, shot put, uniformly circular motion, what we want is, it is not enough only plus and minus. So, in order to give the direction of motion or explain the direction of motion of this, we need the language of vectors. So, we need the language of vectors to explain in detail about motion in a plane. Dear students, already we studied in third chapter, motion in a straight line, that physical quantities, the quantities which are measured in physics or the quantities which are measurable in physics are called physical quantities. Physical quantities. What are physical quantities? Already you know. Once again I repeat that the quantities which are measured in physics or measurable quantities in physics are called measurable quantities in physics are called physical quantities. These physical quantities are classified or categorized into two very important two types, namely scalars and vectors. Already you know something about scalars. little about vectors. So, to start with, what is a scalar quantity? What is a scalar quantity? Scalar quantity is the one which has only magnitude, no direction. So, scalar quantity is the one which has only magnitude. This is the first characteristics of scalar, only magnitude. The second characteristics is it has no direction. Only magnitude, no direction. In addition to that, a scalar is completely specified by a number and a unit. So, specified by a number and unit. Number and unit. So, scalar quantity is always specified by a number followed with a unit. For example, distance, mass, time, temperature, speed, etc. For example, I will take first quantity, distance. If I want to measure distance between the 2 points or 2 places, it is no need of considering the direction. I just want the distance. So, for example, distance between the 2 places, 100 meters, say. Here, keep in mind, distance is the scalar quantity. It has only magnitude, no direction, specified by a number. Clearly, 100 is a number, followed by a unit, that is meter. Take the second example. Mass of sugar. You go to a grocery shop and ask for some amount of sugar. Say, mass of sugar 5 kg. Here also, 5 is the number, kg is the corresponding unit. Mass of sugar is 5 kg. Time interval between the 2 events, is also measured in either hours, minutes, seconds, months, years, etc. It is also example of a scalar. Next, temperature. Say the maximum and minimum temperature recorded in a day. Maximum temperature recorded at around 12 noon is, say, 35.6 degrees Celsius. Here clearly 35.6 is nothing but it is a scalar. Degree Celsius or degree centigrade is it is number followed by unit. Speed. Already you are moving in a vehicle, it has a speedometer. Speed of a vehicle is say 30 kilometer per hour. You are going in an auto rickshaw, then speed of vehicle is 30 is number, kilometer per hour is the unit. 30 is the number, kilometer per hour is the unit. So, this is about examples of scalar. Keep in mind, Scalars are added, subtracted, scalars can be multiplied or divided. The last point under scalar, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Addition, subtraction, multiplication and division of scalar is by using ordinary algebra, or we are following ordinary algebraic method. There is no special method for addition of two scalars, subtraction of two scalars, just ordinary addition, ordinary subtraction, ordinary multiplication, ordinary division. But keep in mind, this is important, while adding and subtracting, you should consider for addition and subtraction of scalars, you should consider scalars of the same type. Scalars of the same type. It is very important. So, for addition and subtraction of scalars possible for same type, this is very, very important. What do you mean by same type? Same type in the sense the scalars must have same units and same dimensions. For example, it is not possible to add distance between the 2 points or 2 places with the mass of sugar. Addition of these two physical quantities is meaningless. Addition of these two scalars meaningless. Similarly, addition of mass of sugar with the maximum temperature of the day is also not possible because they are not of the same type. These two are not of the same type. So, addition and subtraction. For this, you should consider same type of scalars. This is very important. But multiplication and division can take place between any two types of or 3 types of vectors. So, for addition and subtraction, you select the scalars of the same type. For multiplication and division, you can take either you multiply mass with the distance, maximum temperature with the speed, whatever you can do in case of multiplication and division. For that, I will give one more example so that that concept will be clear. Consider a rectangle. Consider a rectangle of length 5 meter, breadth 4 meter. Length 5 meter, breadth 4 meter, it is a rectangle. Tell me what is the perimeter of the rectangle. You already studied in mathematics. Perimeter is nothing but 2 times the length plus breadth, because if this is L, this is also L. If this is B, this is also B. Add all the 4 sides, we get 2 into L plus B. The answer is 2 into 5 plus 4, that is 18 meter. See, perimeter we get 18 meter only, because we added same type of scalars. We added same type of scalars. I will take the second example. Say, maximum temperature of the day recorded at 12 noon is 35.6 degrees centigrade. The minimum temperature recorded early morning, minimum temperature recorded at early morning, say it is 21.2 degrees Celsius. Maximum temperature is 35.6 degrees Celsius at 12 noon. Minimum temperature at early morning, say 5:30 a.m., 21.2 degrees Celsius. Then the difference in this temperature, this is say T maximum, this is T minimum. The difference in temperature, I will say delta T, which is nothing but T maximum minus T minimum. The value is 35.6 minus 21.2 works out to be 14.4 degrees Celsius. See, here also we followed this addition and subtraction, scalar of the same type. Scalar of the same type. Now we consider an ice cube. It is an ice cube of side say I'll write A 10 centimeter or 0.1 meter. 10 centimeter or 0.1 meter. We consider an ice cube of side 10 centimeter or 0.1 meter. Let its mass be 920 gram or 0.920 kg. Mass of the ice cube is 0.920 kg. I consider mass of the ice as 0.920 kg. Side of the ice cube, it is a cubical in shape. Side of the ice cube is 10 centimeter or 0.1 meter. I want to calculate the density. Density of ice cube. What is density of ice cube? What do you mean by density? Density is nothing but rho mass of the ice cube divided by volume of the ice cube. Mass by volume is called density. How to find volume? As it is cubical in shape, one side is given, side is 0.1 meter. So find volume of the ice cube first. Volume is nothing but side cube, that is 0.1 cube, it is nothing but 10 power minus 3 meter cube. How we got 10 power minus 3? Recall, see 0.1 is nothing but 10 power minus 1. 0.1 is equal to 10 power minus 1. So 0.1 cube means 10 power minus 1 cube. We know the property of indices. 3 into minus 1, you multiply the power, we get 10 power minus 3 meter cube. This is the volume of ice cube. Now we want to get density of ice cube. Density is nothing but mass by volume. Density of ice cube is mass 0.920 kg divided by 10 power minus 3 meter cube. If you simplify, we get density of ice works out to be 0.920, 10 power minus 3, bring it to the numerator, negative power changes to positive power. So when power brought to the numerator, it becomes 10 power plus 3. Write the units kg meter power minus 3, because meter taken to the numerator, meter cube taken to the numerator becomes meter power minus 3, or it is equal to 920 kg meter power minus 3. This is, just you see here, we divided two scalar quantities. Division is possible for any type of scalar quantities, but multiplication is also possible for any two types of scalar quantities. But keep in mind, to add or subtract the scalars, we should take same type of scalars. This is about the detailed study of scalars. Now we move on to vectors. Vectors. Already we studied in detail about scalars, right? Already you know about scalars, how scalars are added, subtracted, multiplied, divided, all those things. Now we study about vectors. First, what do you mean by vector? The physical quantities which have both magnitude and direction. Both magnitude, I repeat, magnitude and direction are called vectors. So, vectors are the physical quantities which have both magnitude and direction. Not only enough, they follow triangle law of vector addition. They follow triangle law of vector addition that we study in detail later. Triangle law of vector addition, that means they are not added or subtracted by ordinary method. Ordinary methods are not followed, but vectors follow a special type of addition called triangle law of vector addition. This is very important. Triangle law of vector addition. In addition to that, the examples of vectors. Examples of vector, we know displacement. Displacement is a vector. Then velocity is a vector. Then acceleration is a vector. Then force, before going to force, momentum. Momentum is a vector. Momentum is a vector. Then force is a vector. Similarly, we can write so many quantities, because in physics, whatever physical quantities are there in physics, out of which 60% of physical quantities are vectors. 60% of physical quantities which comes in physics are vectors. Only 40% are scalars. So we have to study in detail about vectors, because in physics almost all quantities, about 60%, out of 100, 60%, first class marks, 60% are vectors only. So we have to study in detail about vectors. So in addition to that, see, already we know scalars are specified by number and unit, right? What about vectors? Number means magnitude. Unit anyway, physical quantity has a unit that you have to write. In addition to that, for vectors specified by number number, unit and direction. Number, unit and direction. This is very important for vector. So, vectors are associated with number, vector associated with unit, vector very importantly associated with the direction. This is must, direction. Now, this is very important question. Distinguish between scalars and vectors, or what are the differences between scalars and vectors. This question they will ask for 2 marks for annual examination or supplementary examination. This is one of the very important question asking for 2 marks. At least 2 differences you should give 2 differences between scalars and vectors. Already we studied about scalars, the quantities which have only magnitude. Only magnitude are called scalars. Vectors are the physical quantities which have both magnitude and direction. Magnitude and direction. Vectors have both magnitude and direction. Second, scalars make use of ordinary algebra. Scalars follow ordinary algebra, whereas vectors follow vector algebra. Vector algebra. Then scalars or these quantities change when magnitude changes. Scalars will change when their magnitude changes, whereas vectors change or these quantities change when magnitude changes or magnitude changes or direction changes or both changes. So when in a vector, if magnitude only changes, then vector will change. In a vector, if direction changes, vector will change. In a vector, both magnitude and direction changes, then vector will change. But in case of scalar, when magnitude of the scalar changes, scalar will change. This is about, in addition to that, you can add examples. Here also you can write the examples. Examples already I explained. This is about the introduction of this. Now we have to go in detail about study of vectors. How to represent a vector? Representation of a vector. Representation of a vector. A vector is always, keep in mind, this is very important, a vector is always represented by a directed line segment. That means it is a line segment Say the line segment is AB. I already told a vector is always represented by a directed line segment. It's a line segment. Here you should show particular direction by putting one arrow mark. This becomes a vector. So representation of vector is directed line segment. Directed line segment. See here, in case of vector, we denote vector as either, say, vector P, either by a single capital letter over which an arrow mark is represented or indicated, or it can also be written as AB with arrow mark. But in your textbooks, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬುಕ್ಕಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಗಿದೆ ಅಂದರೆ ದೇ ರೆಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೆಡ್ ದ ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಬೈ ಬೋಲ್ಡ್ ಲೆಟರ್ಸ್. ಆರ್ಡಿನರಿ ಲೆಟರ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಬೋಲ್ಡ್ ಲೆಟರಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬುಕ್ಕಲ್ಲಿ ವೆಕ್ಟರನ್ನು ರೆಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಹಿಯರ್ ಯು ಸಿ ಎ ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಇಸ್ denoted by either single alphabet over which a vector arrow mark is placed, or two alphabets in which the first alphabet represents the initial point or starting point. This is called initial point. Initial point, or we say tail of the vector. Tail anta helteve idanna. Starting point. And this B is terminal point or head of the vector. Head. So a vector is represented by directed line segment. The notation of vector is either by single alphabet, either it is capital letter or small letter, that is left to you, or two letter representation in which the first letter gives the initial point, second letter gives the final point with an arrow over the two letters AB. For example, this is single vector notation is P with arrow mark or AB with arrow mark. This is about representation of a vector. Now we move on to the first concept given in the book is position and displacement vector. Position and displacement vector. Consider an XY plane. It is an XY plane. Say blackboard. The point of intersection of these two axes known as origin. The point of intersection of X, which is a horizontal axis, Y, which is a vertical axis. The point of intersection of those two gives origin. Say an ant is moving in this plane like this. This is the path followed by an ant. ಒಂದು ಇರುವೆ ಬೋರ್ಡಲ್ಲಿ ಹೀಗೆ ಈ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನಲ್ಲಿ ಹೀಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಈ ದಾರಿ ಮೇಲೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. An ant is following this path. Path followed by an object. That object is taken as an ant. For example, ಒಂದು ಇರುವೆ ಹೀಗೆ ಸಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಈ ಬ್ಲೂ ಲೈನ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಸಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಎಣಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಸೇ ಲೆಟ್ ದ ant will be at a point P at an instant of time t. That means at time t, the position of the ant is at P. At particular time interval, it was at P. Now, to represent the position of an ant at this time, once again I repeat, to represent the position of an ant at the time t, what we do is just we join that point with the origin. That point we join with the origin like this by a straight line. Then from O, if we observe the point P, gives the direction. This is the position vector of the point P, represented by R. Once again I repeat, see, this blue line represents path followed by an object in a plane. XY is the plane. Here, let P be the position of the object at any particular time, say t second. Then, to represent the position of that point, what we have to do is just join that point with the origin. Join that point with the origin. From O or origin, just you observe the position of the point P, then put the direction. So, this is the position vector. Position vector of point P. Suppose after some time ant reaches somewhere here. Say this is point P dash at a time t dash. After some time, because it is following this path, after some time it reaches the point P dash. Then position of the point P dash with respect to origin, position of the point P dash with respect to origin is represented by joining a straight line with that point P and the origin. If you observe the point P dash from origin, that direction is the direction of the position vector represented by R dash vector. So, what do you mean by position vector? Now you understood. So, to represent position of an object or location of an object moving in a plane, just you join that position or point with origin, draw a straight line, put arrow mark. So, this is about position vector. Now, what do you mean by displacement vector? Say, particle is at P at time t, particle is at P dash at time t dash, particle is at P at time t, particle is at P dash at time t dash. For example, particle is at P at 10 a.m. Then at 10:30 a.m. particle reaches P dash. Now, what is the displacement of the particle? The displacement of the particle is obtained by joining the initial position and final position with a vector. See, just you join P and P dash and represent or give arrow mark from P to P dash. See, this is PP dash is nothing but the displacement vector denoted by delta r. PP dash is the displacement vector represented by delta r. So, what is displacement vector? Displacement vector is nothing but if an object is at P at particular instant of time, P dash is the position of the particle after some time during that time interval, that is during half an hour. Here 10 am particle is at P, at 10:30 am particle is at P dash. From P to move to P dash through this path, it takes nearly 30 minutes. Nearly 30 minutes. During that time, how much displacement it covered is represented by a vector by joining initial position and the final position. Initial position and the final position. This is nothing but the displacement vector. So, now you clear about position vector and displacement vector. Position vector is nothing but joining position of the point with the origin, putting arrow mark. Displacement vector means joining initial and final position and giving arrow mark. Gives displacement vector. Now, say in a xy plane, this is the initial position of the particle P. Say this is the final position of the particle Q. Then the displacement vector is represented by PQ. This is the displacement vector. Now consider an ant. On the irve P in the Q ge, it takes say somewhat different path. It moves like this and reaches the point. This is the path followed by an ant. Say a lizard. ಒಂದು ಹಲ್ಲಿ ಗೋಡೆಯಲ್ಲಿ P ಇಲ್ಲಿತ್ತು, it moves to Q in this path. This is path followed by lizard. Yes, you see, both an ant as well as lizard, from P they started, they reached the point Q. One takes this path, the other takes the lower path. But their initial position and final position are same. Here, the displacement vector is nothing but delta r is nothing but the straight line joining P and Q. The straight line joining initial position and final position is the displacement vector. Keep in mind the magnitude of displacement vector. Magnitude of displacement vector. Magnitude is nothing but the length of this line. Magnitude is nothing but length of this line. Magnitude of this displacement vector is always less than or equal to the path length between the 2 points. Once again I repeat, magnitude of displacement is always, it is very important, always less than or equal to path length between the 2 points. What do you mean by less than or equal to? Displacement cannot be more than the path length. It is always less than the path length or maybe equal to path length. When it is equal to path length, say an ant, instead of taking this path, if it takes the straight line path, ಒಂದು ಇರುವೆ ಹೀಗೆ ಮೇಲಿಂದ ಪಿ ಇಂದ ಕ್ಯೂಗೆ ಹೋಗೋ ಬದಲು ಇದೇ ಸರಳ ರೇಖೆಯಲ್ಲಿಯೇ ಪಿ ಇಂದ ಕ್ಯೂಗೆ ಹೋದರೆ ಆಗ ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಆಂಟ್ and path length are equal. Or if instead of lizard taking this much long path length, if it takes along PQ, then path length of lizard when it moves from P to Q along this straight line, then path length becomes equal to displacement. But it cannot be more than the displacement. It is very, very important. Path length may be equal to displacement, or displacement may be equal to path length, but displacement cannot exceed path length. It may be less than path length or equal to path length. Now we move on to the types of vectors. Now we move on to types of vectors. So we studied representation of a vector. In representation of a vector, already we discussed, it is represented by directed line segment, initial point, final point. Either it is represented by single letter with an arrow. Here one thing you keep in mind, length of the line. If you measure the length of the line, will give magnitude of the displacement, magnitude of the vector. Once again I repeat, length of the line between the initial and final point, if you measure the length of the line, which gives magnitude of the corresponding vector. Direction is represented by the arrow mark, arrowhead. Here A is called initial point, B is called final point. In addition to that, we studied what do you mean by position vector, what do you mean by displacement vector. Also one important note, magnitude of displacement is always less than or equal to path length between the 2 points. Magnitude of displacement is always less than or equal to the path length between the 2 points. Now we move on to types of vectors. Types of vectors. Dear students, vectors, in that first we take like vectors or parallel vectors. Like vectors or parallel vectors. Like or parallel vectors. What do you mean by like vectors or parallel vectors? Like vectors or parallel vectors are nothing but two vectors or two or more vectors having same direction. Once again I repeat, when two or more vectors having same direction, they are said to be parallel vectors or like vectors. Say, this is the vector AB. Now I represent one more vector parallel to this vector. Say this, vector CD. I will draw one more vector parallel to this. Say EF. So, just you observe here, their magnitudes are different. They have different magnitude, but their directions all are having the same direction, that is from left to right or west to east. So such vectors are known as like vectors or parallel vectors. Like vectors or parallel vectors. Here suppose if they have, if in like vectors, magnitudes are same, then, once again I repeat, if in like vectors, these are like vectors, magnitudes are same, if their magnitudes are made same, or if their lengths are made same, then they are called equal vectors. Then they are called equal vectors. Once again I repeat, equal vectors are nothing but the special case of like vectors. Equal vectors are nothing but the special case of like vectors. Like vectors means vectors, their magnitude may be different, they have same direction. Direction same irtade, magnitude same irbeku antilla. Suppose like vectors having same magnitude, if their lengths are also made equal, then such vectors are called equal vectors. Such vectors are called equal vectors. So, what do you mean by equality of vectors? Why I am using the word equality of vectors? Because it is given in your textbook like this. Instead of stating equal vectors, they mention equality of vectors. They given like this. Two vectors are said to be equal. Once again I repeat, two vectors are said to be equal if and only if, or I can write IFF. Instead of writing this much, I can write IFF. If and only if two vectors are said to be equal, if and only if their magnitudes and directions are same. That means if two vectors having same magnitude, same direction, they are said to be equal, or that condition is called equality of vectors. Equality of vectors. Consider this is the vector PQ. This is a vector PQ. I want to draw equal vector to that of PQ. What I have to do is this. Just draw a parallel line for that vector of same length. ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಉದ್ದದ ಪ್ಯಾರಲಲ್ ಲೈನ್ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಅದೇ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ತೋರಿಸಿ, ಸೇ this I will say O and S. Now I can say vector PQ is equal to vector OS. Vector PQ is equal to vector OS. What you have to do is just displace this vector. ಈ ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ನ ನಿಧಾನ ಹೀಗೆ ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಬನ್ನಿ. ಅದನ್ನು ಕೀಪ್ ದಟ್ ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಪಿ ಕ್ಯೂ ಆನ್ ಓ ಎಸ್. ಈ ಪಿ ಕ್ಯೂ ಅನ್ನು ನಿಧಾನ ಹೀಗೆ ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಬಂದು ಓ ಎಸ್ಸಿನ ಮೇಲೆ ಇಟ್ಟಾಗ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಪಿ ಕೋಇನ್ಸೈಡ್ಸ್ ವಿತ್ ಓ. ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಪಿ ಕೋಇನ್ಸೈಡ್ಸ್ ವಿತ್ ಓ. Point Q coincides with S, or after overlapping or after displacing that PQ vector over this, both have overlap. So we say such vectors are said to be equal. Their lengths are same, their directions are same. Suppose, say this is vector PQ. Say this is vector OS. Whether these two are equal, whether these two vectors are equal, they are not at all equal. Even though their lengths are same, their directions are different. ಈ ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಮತ್ತು ಈ ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ನ ಎರಡರ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ ಸೇಮ್ ಇದೆ, ಆದರೆ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಆಸ್ ದೇರ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್, ದೇ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಐ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ರೈಟ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದಿಸ್: ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಪಿ ಕ್ಯೂ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು vector OS. So, equality of vector holds good only when they have magnitudes and directions are same. Both vectors or any number of vectors are said to be equal. Their magnitudes are same and their directions are also same. ಅವುಗಳ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನಿಟ್ಯೂಡು ಸೇಮ್ ಇರಬೇಕು, ಅವುಗಳ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನು ಸೇಮ್ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಆಗ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ ದ ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಸೆಡ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಈಕ್ವಲ್.